What's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday. Club going up on a Thursday. What's going on? What's going on, everybody? How we darn? What's up, Brian? What's up, Spock? Hello, Mr. Chicago. Mod Ra is playing tonight. Yes, sir. I'm going to be honest with you. I did not think at all that Amon Ra would play. I probably am not alone in thinking that. I think a majority of people probably read into what we saw this week and thought Amon Ra was going to be out. Now he is in. Does that make me, full on panic on JMO? No, I still have JMO as a top 12 receiver. I'm playing Amon Ra. Your guess is as good as mine on how much Amon Ra is going to play. But what I will tell you is that Amon Ra is a very tough guy. He comes back into games all the time when you think that he's done, down for the count. And frankly, it's week 14 of the fantasy football season. I'm not going to miss the playoffs because I put Amon Ra St. Brown on my bench. I understand that Amon Ra could completely screw you over and be the reason why you lose this week, but I'm not sitting him. I see no argument to be made as to why you would sit him, unless you know more than I do and you're, in the Lions locker room or something, and you can tell me for sure that he is, just going to be a decoy. I'm just going to play him. It is what it is. Either it works or it doesn't. But I would not be able to sleep at night if I had Amon Ra St. Brown and he was on my bench and he goes for 30. So that's my opinion on Amon Ra. Probably talk about it a gazillion more times as more people get into the stream, but that's just my genuine opinion. 0 points, you think, Penny Pounder? Yeah, it is possible. Again, like I'm not saying that Amon Ra's guaranteed to go out there and fucking absolutely dominate. But again, in your fantasy football championship, are you going to sit him? The answer is, if this week was your fantasy football championship, would you sit him? The answer is no. If you are trying to make the fantasy football playoffs, are you going to sit one of the best players in fantasy football? The answer is no. So I'm starting Amon Ra. Thank you guys for all the super chats. Thank you, Nick. Great name. Perfect timing. Shout out to Shadur. Obviously, that's not what you meant, but anytime I read perfect timing, that's what I think of. JMO, Jacoby, or McLaurin for the flex. Thank you for the super chat. I am still playing Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams just scored 7 gazillion points last week on Thanksgiving. Am I going to sit the guy that just scored 7 gazillion points on Thanksgiving? No. I understand that the basement, the floor is the basement with Amon Ra St. Brown. We've seen him score 0 points before this season. So I'm not saying that Amon Ra is this. I'm not Amon Ra. That Jambo is like this guy that you 100% are going to trust. Of course, you're not going to 100% trust him. But at the end of the day, like, let's be honest with you, he is by very clear, in my opinion, the best player that you've listed. I think Jacoby Myers is fine, but Parker Washington might play, right? I think that McLaurin is a good player. He had a great game last week. Do I think McLaurin's going to repeat what he did last week? No, I do not. So at the end of the day, while I definitely do think that there is reasons to worry about Jameson Williams, you will never catch me sitting Jameson Williams based on what we saw last week. So for me, I think you have to start him. This is going up against the Cowboys, a defense that is very bad up against wide receivers. It's one of the better matchups. And Jameson Williams is a very talented player. Again, could this all be very wrong? Of course it could, right? I'm not going to sit here and pretend like Jambo's some super safe player, but you're playing him. So Jameson Williams is your answer. Need 2 running backs and 2 wide receivers. You've got Neal, you got Warren, Monungai, Knight, Vidal, Pittman, Wilson, Vele, Higgins, Tesla. Now, Tesla, to me, I am glad that the news came out when it did. Hopefully everyone that, heard me kind of talk up Isaac Tesla now is able to take him out of your lineup. I think Isaac Tesla now is a terrible start. Isaac Tesla is probably going to get a target or 2. He could find the end zone. So again, could Isaac Tesla still have a good game? Of course. But the idea of actually starting him at this point now feels a little bit foolish. So I'm not touching Tesla anymore. You're going to have to write this down. TTV Phoenix, thank you for the super chat. If Higgins plays, which is my assumption, T. Higgins was upgraded to a full participant in practice on Thursday. I would say it's basically a guarantee that he plays. So I'm going to say Higgins, and I'm going to go with between Pittman and between Wilson. It is tough. I have Michael Pittman ranked 17, Michael Wilson 16. If you do not end up seeing if Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't play, I'm playing Michael Wilson. If Marvin Harrison Jr. is in, I'm playing Michael Pittman. So again, it's just something you got to write down. So just to make this simple, Just put Michael Pittman in, put Higgins in, and then you can flip it if Marv misses. And then for running back, you're going to play Jaylen Warren. I understand that Jaylen Warren was very frustrating and has been frustrating. I get it. Oh, it's Jaden Higgins. Jaden Higgins. I got you. I got you. That complicates things a little bit more. So we'll go back to that. Actually, we will touch on it right now. It's Michael Wilson and it's Pittman. If Marvin Harrison Jr. plays instead of Michael Wilson, I think I'm still just going to go with him regardless. So it's going to be Michael Wilson and Pittman regardless. Thank you for clarifying. And then Warren, Monungai, Knight, or Vidal, or Neal. Vidal, if for some reason Omarion Hampton didn't play, the answer would obviously be Vidal, but Omarion Hampton is going to play as far as I can see. So that obviously, hurts Vidal and would make Vidal a pretty clear sit in my mind. So in my head here, I would go ahead and play Warren and Bam Knight. I'm going to go Warren, Bam Knight. I'm going to go Pittman and Michael Wilson. Thank you for the super chat. Chicago DBB, thank you for the super chat. Amon-Ra, Higgins, Godwin, QJ, Watson, full PPR, thank you for the super chat. Now, in my opinion, again, you're not sitting Amon-Ra St. Brown. You just can't do it. Can Amon-Ra St. Brown completely screw you tonight? 100%. I definitely think that is in the realm of possibilities. But at the end of the day, when your head hits the pillow tonight, you don't want to be sleeping, not being able, you don't want to be not being able to sleep because you got screwed over because you didn't start Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's one of the best receivers in the National Football League. So I'm playing him. I get this could be a decoy. I get things could go wrong. Things could go awry. Things could be led astray, run amok, but I'm still playing him. I'm going to die on that metaphorical hill, right? I'm going to climb that hill and I'm going to pass away on it. That is how I feel about it. So you're playing Amon-Ra St. Brown, no ifs, ands, or buts like Miley Cyrus, which is a lyric from a song that I can't remember the name of. I think it's called Molly Cyrus. That's the name of that song. So you're playing Amon-Ra. You're also playing Higgins, going up against the Buffalo Bills. That's the kind of game where you're going to see Higgins get fed. So I would expect Higgins to have a big game. After that, it definitely is a question between QJ and Watson. It's not from Party in the USA. Gonna put my hands up. They're playing my song. That's like a white girl anthem right there. That song's a banger. I would go Watson. It's elementary, my dear Watson. I would go Watson. Watson looked incredible last week. Quentin Johnston is all over the place. And I mean, so is Watson. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh man, Christian Watson is the fucking safest player I've ever seen in my life. Of course he's not, but he's clearly climbing up the rankings of, the offense, right? He's clearly getting used. I know Jaden Reed might be back. I know, but let's be honest with you guys. You expect, if Jaden Reed returns, you expect him to be fully fired up. I don't. So that's kind of just my take on things. I think I would go ahead and lean with Amon-Ra, Higgins, and Watson. Godwin is fine. If you want to play Godwin, he's a little bit safer, but I'm going to go Watson, Amon-Ra, and Higgins. Amon-Ra might now play, hoping he ends up getting receptions. So Amon-Ra, Higgins, and Watson. In Lucero, thank you for the super chat. Monty or Monungai, Herbert or Nix. Now, Herbert is coming into the week banged up. Do I think that starting Herbert is necessarily DEFCON 1 mode, like you're fucking your team in the behind? No. Am I worried? Yes. It's clearly a scenario that is scary, right? Because I understand it's not his throwing hand, but you guys have to understand, just because it's not his throwing hand doesn't mean that he doesn't use the hand, right? It's not like his left hand is shoved up his ass and he's doing nothing, right? He uses his left hand to grip the football. It's going to impact how he plays. Again, it's better that it's his left hand, not his right hand. I understand that, but I still don't feel 100% confident in him because of that. So I would go with Bo Nix. I understand, Nick, Bo Nix didn't play really good against the Raiders last time. Nick, don't you know? Did you watch the game? Yeah, I watched the game. It was on Thursday Night Football. It was a shit show. There was only one touchdown, and I believe it was J.K. Dobbins, who then ended up getting hurt in that game. So I would go with Bo Nix. He feels way safer than Monty or Monungai. To me, this is kind of just the battle of two guys I don't really want to start, but two guys that a lot of people have to start. And I would lean with Monungai because based on the matchup tonight up against the Cowboys, this is not the kind of game where David Montgomery goes absolutely nuclear. The game script for him to go absolutely bananas is a game where the Lions are up big, right? Say the Cowboys were the Cowboys from earlier on in the season. I think the Lions would run up the score. And in running up the score, that means they are going to be not throwing the ball. They're going to be handing the ball off a ton to Monty late. He's going to potentially get multiple touchdowns. You're going to get potentially a vintage Montgomery game. Instead, we fast forward to what we have right now on the plate. This doesn't feel like that kind of a game. It feels like a game where they're going to be losing or close to where they're not going to spam the ball to Monty. So I would go Monungai and I would go with Knicks. Javonte Williams or RJ Harvey, I would go Javonte Williams, Soul Assassin. The over-under was 44.5 earlier today. It might have risen by now. I would go Monungai and Knicks. Thank you for the super chat. Krana Sa, thank you for the super chat. J-Mo, Michael Wilson, Flowers, or Lad? Great question. 1 second. All right, so I would go ahead and go JMO, Michael Wilson, Flowers, or Lad. I got a Diddy text. Yeah, dude, I was talking to Diddy. Me and Epstein just got off the phone. That's who I was talking to. Me and Jeffrey Epstein. Me and my man, my best friend. That's who I was talking to. All right, guys. All right. The 53.5 now. I'm surprised it didn't move up, if I'm being honest with you guys. I'm surprised it didn't move up. I guess Amon-Ra doesn't move the needle as much. I guess, any given player doesn't necessarily move the needle too much for Vegas. But I definitely think Amon-Ra himself is worth like at least a point, right? We'll see. We'll see. Someone clip that, dude. Someone will clip anything that I say. I only say this kind of stuff because obviously you guys know it's a joke, right? Like, at least a majority of people watching this stream have listened to me talk before, so they know. Obviously, I'm just messing around, right? I also, Epstein's dead, so I actually could not call him. I could not talk to him. All right. JMO, Michael Wilson, Flowers, or Lad? Great question. JMO, Michael Wilson, Flowers, or Lad? So I think you just have to play Jameson Williams again. Jameson Williams is kind of just must start every single week, in my opinion. Again, like, I get the floor is lava, right? The floor is terrible. He could absolutely ream you straight in the behind, but also the ceiling is very high, right? We've seen these glass breaking type of games where he goes absolutely ballistic. So while I definitely have my question marks, I do think you should probably just play him. And then Michael Wilson, Flowers, or Lad. I would lean with Lad. Now, I understand that the offensive production out of out of the Chargers with a banged up version of Herbert and with a shit tier offensive line, it is a big concern, right? I definitely think you should be concerned. But at the end of the day, Lad has been feasting with the offensive line being bad, right? They clearly are running a game plan to get him the ball. Their goal is to get the ball to him, right? Get the short underneath stuff and let him potentially bust off a big reception, right? Off the check down, off these easy targets. So again, while I definitely wouldn't want to, hitch the whole trailer of my fantasy team to the Chargers offense, right? For instance, if I'm in like a league where I'm starting 2 receivers, 2 flexes, and most weeks I'm playing, two Chargers, right? It feels worse. It would definitely feel worse to do. But in a scenario where you're just playing one, I see no reason as to why, Lad McConkey can't have a great game again, especially because I think they're going to be looking to get a lot of easy stuff this week with Herbert, a lot of safe stuff. So personally, I definitely feel very good. Definitely feel very good about Lad this week. So I'm going to go Lad and JMO. Again, I'm a big fan of Michael Wilson, so that is tough, but I would lean Lad over Michael Wilson. Thank you for the super chat. I would go Lad and JMO. Rubber Toe, thank you for the super chat. Bo Nix or Trevor Lawrence? Great question. Great question. Jake, yeah, start Amon-Ra. That's my opinion. My opinion tonight is play Amon-Ra St. Brown. I understand that Amon-Ra St. Brown is definitely more risky than normal, but you are playing him. So Bo Nix versus Trevor Lawrence is the question. And this is a good question. I have Bo Nix at 10, Trevor Lawrence at 12. Again, I just don't project that the game is going to go how it went last time up against the Raiders. Anyone who watched that game probably watched the first half and then fell asleep, right? That was a dreadful game to watch. It was the Raiders versus the Broncos. It was terrible. But I feel like if you just run that game back, which they're doing this week, the Broncos probably score more points, right? You would think. So thus, Bo Nix should have a bigger game. The problem with Bo Nix is every single week, I say this all the time, he just kind of rolls the dice, right? He's either going to be amazing or terrible. You typically don't get a middling game out of Bo Nix. Last week was one of those middling games. I would go ahead, gun to the head, and I'm going to play Bo Nix. If you're thinking, Nick, I want to have the safest player possible, then your answer is very simple. If you want the safest player possible, you play Trevor Lawrence. He's safer than Bo Nix, but I would lean with Bo Nix. 392. Dom says, start Lad, Pittman, or Egbuka? Great question. Again, I'm going to go with Lad. I think Egbuka might actually just be screwed. Like, if Mike Evans comes back, I get Egbuka's still going to be fine. Like, you're still going to play Egbuka, but he might be just completely shot for, becoming great this season. And what I mean by that is, really finishing on a high note, ripping off multiple top 12 games down the season. I just don't think that's going to end up happening. So I would just go with Lad. I like Pittman. I like Pittman's spot. I know Pittman didn't play that great last week, but we talk about this every week about Pittman. He's the same guy every single week. Michael Pittman does what Michael Pittman does. He's always going to be boom or bust. He's never going to be a safe option. You just kind of have to get that out of your head. But I'm going to go with Lad because, again, even though Justin Herbert is banged up, I project that they are going to try to have the easy things go his way. They're not going to have Justin Herbert, I don't think, unless the game gets that negative, him have to heave the ball 7,000 times deep down the field. Them going for the craziest stuff. So gun to the head, I would go ahead and play. I'm playing Lad because I think Lad is going to get all that safe stuff. All right. Thank you, Neto, for becoming a member. I got your question. I pinned it, so I'm going to answer it once I get past all the other super chats. Don't you worry. Thank you for becoming a member. I will get your question. Anyone that wants to become a member, you can. I think it's like $10 a month. You get priority answers to your questions on YouTube. I can just go into the back end, and it kind of just tells me who's a member and who's not. There's not a lot of members. I always answer their comments. And obviously you have a logo next to your name, and you can throw different logos of mine in the chat. That's really it though. It's not that crazy of a thing, but it does help me out. So I do appreciate it. And next year we might revamp how it works. I'm not too sure yet. I was initially going to make it the exact same price as the Patreon, but then it didn't let me do that. It was a disaster. So I'm going to try to sort it out better for next season, but I do appreciate it. Thank you. All right. So Lad, Pittman, or Egbuka. Again, I'm just going to play Lad. I just think Lad is more than likely going to get, again, the easy targets for this team. I am very worried about, Herbert compared to normal, but at the end of the day, the guy's going to play through it. He's going to be fine. So I'm going to play Lad. Dynamic. Thank you so much for the super chat. I greatly appreciate it. Anyone that is on the Patreon, the rankings are going to be coming out in short order. I am currently, updating them. So they will be out soon. Okay. Higgins or Marks, if you could only choose one in full PPR, you would think that Woody should be game script proof, but neither team really used their young running backs in the past game. I think this game could be high scoring. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, I mean, Woody Marks, the weird thing about him is he keeps getting fed, but for some reason, it just never equals the game that he can have, right? Because we've seen Woody Marks this season perform, right? We've all seen it. We've seen him play good, and we see him continue to get a million touches, but he's just yet to really break free, right? He's yet to really have that consistency because if you look at his touches, he's getting the touches, right? There's nothing, you can't deny the amount of touches he's getting. Nick Chubb, the fact that Nick Chubb gets goal line touches makes you want to blow your brains out, right? And the fact that the offensive line sucks also is a big concern. But again, when you get as many touches as he gets, he is due to have a big game, right? Especially if you think the guy's talented, right? Because of course there's running backs in the NFL that aren't talented. They could get 20 carries and it might not work, right? But Woody Marks is talented. Woody Marks is actually good. So the fact that he hasn't lucked into that yet is crazy, and I think he will. I think he will luck into that eventually, just not yet. But maybe it's this game. At the end of the day, though, I'm gonna go. If we're talking about Jaden Higgins, right? Kinda. If we're talking about Jaden Higgins, it would be Woody Marks. If we're talking about Jaden Higgins, it's Woody Marks, just because, again, I still think that the Texans are kind of diddling with us, right? And what I mean by diddling with us is they're just kind of fucking with us, right? Every single week. They don't fully give the ball to Higgins, but if this is they don't fully, insert him how I think they should, which is just feed him, right? If I was the coach, Nico's getting the ball a bunch, and guess who else is getting the ball a bunch? Higgins, because he's the second best player on this team that plays wide receiver, right? He's obviously better than Christian Kirk. He's obviously better than, all the other guys they have there, Xavier Hutchinson. So, yeah, I would, if it's T. Higgins, it's obviously T. Higgins. You're not sitting T. Higgins. It's just, very clear. But if it's T with H-Town, if it's Jaden Higgins, I'm going Woody Marks. Thank you for the super chat. But if it's T, you're definitely going T. Higgins. Thank you for the super chat. Jose, thank you for the super chat. Who do I start? Rashee Rice, George Pickens, Devontae, and Nico. Assuming, is T playing? Spock, based on what I've read, the answer would be yes. I pulled it up earlier. Concussion practiced in full on Thursday. If you practice in full on Thursday, in my opinion, unless, something else happens at practice, I think he's going to play. That would be my assumption. Again, fantasy football is weird. The NFL is weird, and just blankly assuming things is difficult, but my assumption would be that he plays. Are we playing Ahmad-Ra? 100%. So if you need, you gave me 4 guys. I assume you need 2 or 3. So I'm just going to rank them for you. We're going to make this very simple. I'm posting the rankings right now on Patreon. So let me just do that first, just to make sure that they're out. Okay. This is very simple. Very, very simple. So at wide receiver, my top 12 at wide receiver is, I got JSN, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Puka Nacua, Rashee Rice, George Pickens, Devontae Adams, Ahmad-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Chris Olave, Nico Collins, Jalen Waddle. So if I had to rank them, it would be in the order of Rashee Rice, then it would be George Pickens, then it would be Devontae Adams, and then it would be Nico Collins. Again, these are 4 guys that most people are playing and they don't even think about it, right? A majority of you guys that have George Pickens, you don't think about it. A majority of you guys that have Rashee Rice, you don't think about it. You don't think about, unless that's Devonta Smith. If that is Devonta Smith, okay. So I think he meant Devonta Smith based on how he spelled Devonta. We'll see here. So if it's Devontae Smith, they'd be ranked Rashee Rice, George Pickens, Nico Collins, Devontae Smith. So if you're starting 3, it's Rashee Rice, George Pickens, and Nico Collins. If that's Devontae Smith, if it's Devontae Adams, it's Rashee Rice, George Pickens, Devontae Adams. And I typed it in the chat so you get a better idea. Thank you, Neto, for becoming a member. I appreciate you. 8-team full PPR. Pick the flex: Tesla, Vidal, or Chris Rodriguez. Great question. I am not playing Tesla. Why am I not playing Tesla? Because now that um, Amon-Ra's healthy, I don't think you can play Tesla. Even if Amon-Ra's on a snap restriction, Tesla last week played like 90% of the snaps and had 2 targets. So I don't necessarily think that things are guaranteed to go back his way. So I would not play Tesla, and I think I would just go C-Rod based on the fact that C-Rod's going to get you like 10 to 12 points. Now, if O'Mara and Hampton was to miss, it would obviously be Vidal, but I would go Chris Rodriguez just because I feel like he's your safest bet there. So I'd go Chris Rodriguez. Thank you, Richard, for becoming a member as well. I appreciate Richard. Richard is in the Discord all the time, so make sure you guys join the Discord. He's a great guy. Great fella, let me tell you. The greatest guy. Joey, thank you for the super chat, my man. Dolphins D or Titans D? Like DK, return man. Yeah, dude, Shamir DK is fucking great, man. He is a great return guy. He might have, I think, where did I read it? What's up, Mike Mills? Where was I listening to something? Someone said that he's actually going to break the all-time record for scrimmage yards. All-time scrimmage yard record. What's up, Caitlin? Who is it? Or maybe it's not scrimmage yards. That whatever they consider. Fuck, who has it? Is that? Oh, fuck, who is it? Does anyone know who I'm talking about? Is it? It's not. It's some short guy. I'm trying to think of who it is. In season. Who is it? God damn it. I'm trying to think of what the record is called. But whatever that record is, like most yards total, he is going to break that record. Dolphins D or Titans? That's a good question. If you're getting return yards, then I'd probably lean with the Titans. Yeah, Hester. I think it's Hester. Yeah, you're correct. It was either Hester or see, his name is escaping me. He's the short guy, but it being a short guy doesn't even give you anything. So it was probably Hester if I had to guess. So Dolphins D or Titans? Now it is Hester. Okay, yeah, it was Hester. All-purpose yards. Yeah, that's what I meant. Not scrimmage yards. All-purpose yards. Hester the molester. Yeah, dude, Hester was a beast. I think Shamir DK, if you guys look it up, he is going to potentially break Devin Hester's record for most all-purpose yards. All-purpose yard leaders. One season. Oh, no. Darren Sproles actually is number 1. Darren Sproles. He had 2,600 yards in a season. Where is DK on this list? Shamir DK right now has 1,900. So he needs a more, but I think he might break Darren Sproles' record. Yeah, Darren Sproles was on the Eagles. Crazy. So there's a bunch of guys on the list, by the way, that have a shit ton of these yards. But personally, I'm going with the Dolphins, Joey. I think that Tyrod is a short. Yeah, he was short. That's what I was thinking of. The short guy, Darren Sproles. Darren Sproles was in the league, I'm pretty sure. If I'm trying to remember. But yeah, what I was trying to say is I would go with the Dolphins D. Do I absolutely adore going up against the Jets? No, because I think that Tyrod is more competent than Justin Fields. But Tyrod has played so well that he's bound to make some stupid mistakes. He's bound to have a game, especially with how red hot the Dolphins defense is. Okay. 1 second. Sproles was 5'6". 5'6". Yeah, I'm going with the Dolphins defense. I just don't think you can sit the Dolphins. Like again, the Jets are just so bad. Like they're like Tyrod's bound to mess up. He's just bound to. And the Dolphins defense is so good recently. I don't think the Dolphins actually have a good defense. If I'm being 100% honest with you, I don't think they do, but they've been playing well. Bro, you're mad handsome. Let me caress. What the fuck did you just say? Let me caress those cheeks. Hey, yo. Hey, yo. Yeah, so I'm going Dolphins D. Thank you for the super chat. Gotta fire up St. Brown, right? Or play QJ or Pierce. Yeah, you have to play St. Brown, in my opinion. You have to play St. Brown. Now, I'm going to make this very clear when talking about St. Brown. Could I see St. Brown being dreadful? 100%. I could see St. Brown doing nothing. But are you we dropping Tesla? Yes. I don't think you will be able to sleep tonight if you sit Ahmad-Ra St. Brown and he scores 20 points. You will feel so stupid. Now, I understand that Ahmad-Ra can have a bad game, and I'm not saying that that's an impossibility. But at the end of the day, we are starting Amon-Ra St. Brown. I have played with the sword, pause, like this tonight, and it hasn't worked. Thank you. I can fix your copier. I did. It hasn't. It hasn't worked before. But at the end of the day, you're gonna have to swallow that pill and play him. Especially when your options like QJ and Pierce. I love Pierce as much as the next guy, but that's scary, man. That is scary. That is very, very, very scary. Ooh, wait, who do I have ranked higher this week? Bucks. And okay, so I'm just playing Amon-Ra St. Brown again. I can see it going wrong. I can see it being dreadful. But all I know is when my head hits the pillow tonight, I'm not sitting fucking Amon-Ra St. Brown and not being able to sleep because of it. That is how I feel. I want to make sure that mentally I am able to, go to bed. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to be playing. I'm starting my studs, and Amon-Ra's a stud. Right? Like realistically, you guys would never sit like we'll make it a different guy. A different receiver. So would you, if Rashee Rice was coming off an injury, would you? Wow, what's up, Ben? Would you sit? Rashee Rice? No, you wouldn't. Would you sit like Justin Jefferson? Go back to last season. Are you sitting Justin Jefferson? No. Are you sitting JSN? No. Are you sitting CeeDee Lamb? No. Are you sitting Puka Nacua? No. Right? Any of these guys, if they were coming off of an injury and they just played, you're playing them. Right? So that's just kind of my thought process on it, especially when it's someone that's elite like Amon-Ra, right? So this game will be over in like 4 hours. It will be. It will be. Here's my league's last 5 ads. Mariota, Pat Bryant, Coker, P. Ryan, AD Mitchell. How sharp is my league? I would say your league, based on the fact that you were able to start your guys, I agree with you. The fact that you were able to get AD Mitchell, someone's able to get AD Mitchell this week, ruins the sharpness slightly. But the fact that someone picked up Pat Bryant and Jalen Coker tells me that your waiver wire probably ain't that deep and that you have some sharper players in your league, if I had to guess. Because the only time you'll ever see someone pick up like Pat Bryant or something, someone's in a league where there's like no one on the waiver wire that is even remotely good. So, I mean, rating out of 10, I would say your league mates are probably at like at least an 8 or a 9 out of 10. You're playing Franklin one more time. I would too. I would give Franklin one last ride. I don't think last week should be, oh, fuck, it's over, right? For Franklin. Now, obviously, was last week good for Franklin? No. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like, I try not to, say things and then sound like an idiot. But yeah, I'm still playing Franklin, right? That to me, that's either a 14 team league or a very competitive 12 team league because the waiver wire in a lot of my 12 team leagues, some of the more competitive ones look exactly like what he's talking about. So yeah, that's probably either a 14 team league or a very competitive 12 team league, if I had to guess. Mando Jr., thank you for the super chat, my man. Should I start Gadsden or Waller? Man, I am basically at my wit's end with Gadsden. I currently have Gadsden ranked ahead of Waller, but I'm going to be honest with you. By Sunday, I might flip that. Right? I think realistically, gun to the head, I might just flip it. I think I would go Waller. Right? Why would I go Waller? Just because I feel like Waller's floor is much higher than Gadsden's, right? Gadsden's been kind of uninvolved. Gadsden has looked not the best, and it just kind of hurts, man. It just is super annoying. And the fact that Herbert's hurt as well. Now, again, I do think that when the offense is at its best, Gadsden should be like if the offense is running at tip top shape, Gadsden should be getting a lot of volume, and they've played bad in back to back weeks. So, like, I think the pendulum is going to swing back, and we say this a lot, but I really do think that the pendulum will swing back his way eventually. Now, the fact that Herbert's banged up throws even more of a wrench into things, right? It makes things even more confusing. So for me, I think I would just start Waller because I feel safer about it. He feels safer. And you would be feeling even better. Like, we'd be feeling way better about Waller if Tua didn't just miss him. Anyone that was watching that game, Waller's wide open. He beats his guy, pause, and he's wide open, and Tua sails the ball over him. Now, if you've watched Tua maneuver in this offense, is Strange over any of those two better? Yes, actually, that makes things way easier. You just play Strange. You just play Strange. That's actually way easier. But yeah, just play Strange. He's very, very safe on the Jaguars. But what I was trying to say was, when it comes to Waller, we'd be looking at him way differently if Tua didn't just miss him. And I know we like to make fun of Tua all the time. I make fun of him too. Obviously, the way I look at football is I'm just going to support whoever the Dolphins quarterback is, whether he sucks or he's good. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to root for him. A lot of Dolphins fans have already turned on Tua. I'm just going to keep rooting for him, cheering for the guy. Him and Waller had a good connection earlier on in the season, so it is what it is. Didn't realize my waiver submission was good. No, that's fine. Strange is a top 3 volume tight end rest of the season. I agree with you. Trevor Lawrence loves. He loves Brenton Strange. I had Brenton Strange for a lot of the season, and then I cut him and I'm so pissed at myself. I had to get rid of him, though. I couldn't keep holding him on my bench when he was out for so long. So, yeah, I would go Strange. Thank you for the super chat. Daniel, thanks for your support, brother. Help me land in first, trying to end in first. Great success, man. Yeah, I'm happy to help. I'm glad that you guys have found some great success this fantasy season. And again, fantasy is all about, at the end of the day, look, I do all this research all summer. I do all this research all week. I spend so much time before every video I record doing research, trying to figure everything out for you guys. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of luck that goes into this too. And once you guys start to realize that, which a lot of you guys have, that there is a lot of luck based in fantasy, you will finally feel better about when you lose, right? You'll feel better about yourself. Because it ain't all your fault at the end of the day, right? Like last week, if you were to Amon-Ra St. Brown and you lost, you just got unlucky, right? It's not your fault. So, yeah, I appreciate that, though. And I hope that you do end up in first. I'm going to try my best to get everyone a first place W that can make the playoffs. And guess what? If you're someone watching this, and you're not in the playoffs, guess what? You can knock someone out of the playoffs this week, right? You can make that move and potentially ruin someone else's fun. And honestly, that to me is just as fun as actually winning. Even though you don't get the money at the end of the day, you do get that nice satisfaction of screwing someone else over, which is the best part about fantasy, right? It's just, beating someone that, in real life or that online. So thank you very much. Bucky, ETN, Jalen Warren, Harvey, also Stafford over Hurts. Now, Hurts, despite the fact that Hurts has been bad via the eye test, right? And look, I think even the Eagles fans would agree. I don't know how many Eagles fans are here. I don't know if Rachel is here. She's an Eagles fan. They haven't looked good on the eye test, but, we have seen the Eagles, Jalen Hurts produce in fantasy. So while I definitely am going to play Stafford, you could play Hurts. I just trust Stafford 9,000 times more than I trust Hurts. So my lean would be to go with Stafford. And then at running back, I think this is kind of easy, at least with Bucky, right? Bucky just has to be in your lineup. Bucky looked great last week. I thought they were going to ease Bucky in. They said Dikembe, no to that, and they fed him. And he looked great. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in must-win category right now. They have to beat the Saints. If they lose to the Saints, the playoff race in both conferences is sparking up. Now, obviously, the NFC is going to be much tougher to get into, just based on the amount of wins that teams have, right? But that's just how it goes. That is just how it goes. So I am going to be. I'm going Bucky. I'm going again. I'm not sitting ETN. I get Nick ETN fucked me last week. I can't walk straight because what ETN did to me. I get it. But you're not sitting ETN. Sorry to tell you. I'm not sitting him. So you're playing Bucky, you're playing ETN. And then it's between Warren and Harvey. And I would go Warren. Great matchup against the Ravens. I just think Warren is bound to get lucky and just have a bigger game. The offense kind of sucks, but the offense relies heavily on Warren. So I'm going to go Warren, Bucky, and ETN. I like Harvey as much as the next guy, but it's Bucky, Warren, and ETN for me. Daniel, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Daniels, Jones, Lawrence, Darnold, or start Hurts? Great question. Now, if Jaden Daniels plays, I'm going to keep it a buck with you. I don't want to play Jaden Daniels in his first game back. Could you? Yes. Yes, of course you could. Would I force myself into doing it? No. I understand it isn't his throwing arm, and I understand he'll probably be fine. But there's also something to be said about rust. He hasn't played in a bunch of games as well. And sometimes with quarterbacks, it takes some time to get back. Like him and Terry weren't on the same page. They weren't in the same book this season. So that's a concern. So I would go T-Law or Daniel Jones. It's between those two. And I think I would lean Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is hurt, but watching the game, I thought that the fact that he was banged up would have more impacted his mobility. But watching the game, like maybe a Colts fan watched 100% of the snaps and maybe saw something that I didn't. Like I was paying attention to the game. He looked fine. Like he didn't look like the injury was massively impacting him to the point where he couldn't do anything. Right? He still looked like himself. Obviously, maybe he's slightly slower, but he still looked good. The matchup against the Jaguars is good. I would expect, Jones to have a good game. Jones is a very reliable piece. So is T-Law. I just think Lawrence is more likely to be like the quarterback 12 most weeks, right? Whereas Daniel Jones, I think, actually has like top 6 upside. Like Trevor Lawrence just doesn't feel like he's going to crack that top 6. He just doesn't feel like the kind of guy that's going to win you your week, right? Whereas I actually think that Daniel Jones can. So I would go Daniel. Oh, fuck. But it's also you have Hurts too. So we just completely glossed over Hurts. In that scenario, I'm just going to play Hurts. I get it hasn't been great, but yeah, you're not in week 14 sitting Jalen Hurts. That's kind of just how I feel. You're just not going to. You didn't draft him where you did to sit him. That's really my opinion on it, right? He's been up and down, but you're playing him. His upside is way higher than anyone else there, so you would go Hurts. Justin, thank you for the super chat. Hey, man, got to decide on my wide receivers in my flex spot. Have Nico Collins, A.J. Brown, Igbuka, Myers, and Pierce. Also have Javonte as a potential flex. Thank you for the super chat. And no, I don't really think I glazed Jalen Hurts. I mean, we've kind of been on like a negative Jalen Hurts train. Like, I think everyone across, like, even Eagles fans are hating on Hurts. Like, I don't think anyone right now is glazing Hurts. He just has so much upside. Like, I just can't see myself. Like, I always try to take your guys' questions as if they're my team, right? Like, not answer it as like, who gives a shit? It's some random person on the internet asking this question, right? I try to take it as this is my fantasy team and this is who I'm going to play. Hey, yo. But yeah, that's how I look at it. So I'm just like, I would start Hurts. Yeah, make sure you guys are on the Discord. Everyone is cool in there, and I actually agree with that. Everyone's a nice person in there. Jones is mustard. Okay. So you have Nico, you have Collins. That's the same guy. You have Nico Collins. Hey, Nick, are you first in any of your leagues? Sutton or Higgins? I would go Higgins. And best of luck. And yeah, I am in first in one of my leagues. I'll show you guys the leagues once we're done answering all these questions. So probably like right when the game starts, I'll just show you guys all my teams. We'll just do that right at the end. I'm going to get off, pause, and go watch the game. Okay. This is a very good question. Nico, AJ Brown, Igbuka, Myers, Pierce, and you also have Javonte. Now, Looking at the matchup for Javonte Williams, it is tough. I think, at least off of what I remember. So I'm gonna exactly pull it up. I don't want to just speak from out the ass. Yeah, the Lions are the second worst matchup for Javonte. The thing is, though, last week I'm in second right now. Okay, John, go ahead and shit on me. Let's see how it is. All right, Johnny, I see how it is, buddy. Also, is there something called Twitch? Yes, there's something called Twitch. Yeah, I'm in second in one of the leagues. I'm in first in one of my leagues, and I'm in like ninth in another one of the leagues. So brutal. Everyone's gonna make fun of me. But yeah, AJ Brown, Igbuka, Myers, and Pierce, and okay. So Nico Collins is a must start. You are starting Nico Collins every single week. I'm not sitting him. It's really that simple. I am never going to sit Nico Collins. I get, he's all over the place this season and I thought he'd be more consistent. I mean, dude, the guy has put up such good numbers in Nico Collins' career when he's been healthy. I'm playing him every single week. I'm not even thinking about it. Then I think you have to play AJ Brown. Now, I don't like AJ Brown at all. I did not like AJ Brown in the summer. I told everyone not to draft him. I told everyone that I don't trust him. And for a majority of the season, I was correct. But ever since he got on that Madden stream and started baby raging on the internet, he's been performing. So while I don't trust AJ Brown, you have to at some point acknowledge when a guy's playing very well. And he is. He's been playing on top of the world, even with the Eagles offense being terrible. You got to play him. So that's what I would tell you. That's what I would tell you. I'm playing AJ Brown. So you got to play AJ Brown. You got to play Nico Collins. And then at flex, oh, fuck, this sucks because Javonte's playing tonight. I was going to say the best thing to do is just play. The best scenario would be this game was on Sunday and you could play. You would know if Parker Washington is playing or not, because if Parker Washington is in, I definitely want to play. I want to play Javonte, but since you don't have that, I think this is tough. I think I'm going to go Collins, AJ Brown, and Myers. And if Myers doesn't play, I'm playing Pierce. That's what I would do. AJ Brown, Collins, and Myers. And if Parker Washington's in, we're playing Pierce instead. So AJ Brown, Collins, and Myers. If Myers is in and Parker Washington is in, you sit Myers, you play Pierce. Just write that down. I'm going to write it down for you. Nico and AJ Brown, those are locks. Those are locks. Nico and AJ are locks. And after that, Myers. But if Parker Washington is in, replace him with Pierce. Very good question. That's how we're feeling. That is how we were feeling. Joe, who is last place in our league, asked me he's going to lose his league. Any tips? Just fucking get better. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. Oliver has lost 9 games in a row. You cannot lose to him. You simply cannot. You simply cannot. So that's on you. You got to figure it out. You just got to figure it out. You spend too much time doing research on which college your players went to, Hate to see it. Hate to see it. Shout out to Joe. Joe's a great guy. Great man. Thank you for the super chat dynamic again. I like what you said. It helped me a lot to lock in early. Everyone is locked in and they're selecting players off the waiver wire. Not everyone's locked in 3 weeks before the NFL draft. That is true. Yeah. I mean, the best thing to do, honestly, for fantasy is to just start looking at it. Whenever you think your league mates are looking at it, just look at it like a week or two before that, right? Not everyone plays in a league where you have to be looking at fantasy shit in July, right? Putting the chat on screen is crazy. How's that crazy? I just complimented you. I was just being nice to you, I don't have to do that. It's not like I know you or anything. All right, but on the realio, everyone is locked in 3 weeks before the NFL draft. Yeah, exactly. Like, most people in your leagues are not fucking giving a shit about some random guys that are getting drafted in the 9th round, or not the 9th round of the NFL draft, but you get what I mean, right? In the 5th round, the 6th round of the NFL draft. Most people don't care about that. What most people actually do is they wait until their draft is on, what's that called? Is it Labor Day? Whatever day it is in September. They start looking at stuff 3 days before the draft. If you're just a week ahead of your league mates, you're going to have a good time in the draft. That's kind of how I look at things. Most people don't care about fantasy until late August. They don't. And honestly, if this wasn't my job, I don't know if I would either. Obviously, I did because I would even watch videos like in July and stuff, but I wouldn't be as locked in, Just kind of how it goes. But yeah, the people are very locked in during the season in most leagues. Your league mates are going to be very locked in. It's always good to get a jump on the waiver wire on other people, which is why I try to include people towards the end of the waiver wire video that are, guys that I say are like speculative ads. And basically what that means is if you have bench spots, you just add them because maybe you can get a jump on your league mates. Kind of like how we talked about AD Mitchell for weeks before he actually did anything. We've done that before this season. I'm not going to act like I'm some Nostradamus though, with telling you guys to pick people up because obviously, like, oh, Nick, you touted this guy and he sucks, right? Like, there's definitely multiple guys like that this season. Dave Harvey, thank you for the super chat, and I appreciate your dynamic. BTJ, McLaurin, Pierce, or Higgins. I am not touching BTJ with a 10-foot pole. I would rather start no one over BTJ. Obviously, that's a lie, but I'm done with BTJ. I'm simply fucking tired of the guy. The guy he's a great receiver. He is. But until him and Trevor Lawrence figure something out, until him and T-Law figure it out, how can you ever play him? How can you ever play him? The answer is no. I'm always super locked in for the whole offseason and burn myself out by the time the season starts. I understand that. I understand that. And yeah, I mean, I feel a similar way. Not by the start of the season because, I just enjoy it so much, but like by like right now, when I'm grinding out these videos, and obviously not as many people care because the end of the season. It is definitely is a bit of a burnout time, but we're almost at the end of the season, so hopefully all you guys get those W's. Shout out to George. All right, so again with BTJ, I'm kind of just done with him. BTJ is going to be a hot talking point next summer. I already know. People will be like, Nick, what do I do with BTJ? Is he like a must draft? Nick, you told me he was must draft last year and he sucked dick. You know what I'll tell you? I think next year, depending on ADP, I'll probably just draft him again. I will fall for the exact same trap because I think he's good. But until he actually does something, like, how can you trust him? So assuming that is Jaden Higgins, not T. Higgins. If it's T. Higgins, you're obviously playing T. Higgins. So if it's T. Higgins, you're playing T. Higgins and McLaurin. If it's Jaden Higgins, it's going to be McLaurin and Pierce. I love Jaden Higgins, but Nico Collins is really the guy. Jaden Higgins isn't guaranteed to get even 5 targets if I'm being 100% with you. So that's kind of how I feel. See you, Ty. I would go if that's T. Higgins, it's T. Higgins and Pierce. If it's Jaden Higgins, it's McLaurin and Pierce. McLaurin really came out of nowhere last week. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I was so off of McLaurin in the summer. He has not paid off. He continues to get hurt, but he looked so good last week that you kind of just have to be back in. So, yeah, McLaurin and Pierce. And then if it's T. Higgins, it's T. Higgins and Pierce. Thank you for the super chat. I wonder if Treylon Burks will be any good next year. I'll be honest with you. I don't think so. That catch was incredible. I'll give him all the credit in the world for that. And I used to think Treylon Burks was good. When he got drafted, I thought he would be good. So did most people, right? I mean, that was a pretty sane take. Now look, if he could go to, I don't even know where, go to a team that has confidence in him, right? That was Jaden Higgins. Okay, so it's going to be McLaurin and it's going to be Pierce. Thank you for the super chat. So the way I feel is, yeah, Burks for AJ Brown, baby. Is that Burks has the skill set, but he would need to be in the perfect scenario. I'm talking the best scenario ever for him to actually succeed, because I don't think a single team will ever trust him again to be what he was in Tennessee, right? He's going to be like the wide receiver 3 or 4 on a team. So it would take injuries and a good quarterback. So for instance, if he was on the Chiefs, And Burks is so good, can't stay healthy. I don't know if he's good, but he's okay. I like actually the best scenario I think would be the Bills, right? Keon Coleman, he's busy thinking about cookies. We all know that. But like if you could put him on the Bills and give him a season to work with Josh Allen, I think he would eventually be pretty decent. But I still don't think you would ever actually want to draft him in fantasy. Thank you, Robert. Going into the fantasy playoffs with Burrow, JT, and Bucky, Jamar, Igbuka, Fergalicious, Devontae will be my go in the flex. McPherson and Browns or Rams defense. Godspeed, Nick. That's a great team. That's a great team right there. That's a fantastic team. I think anyone that has JT, I mean, if you have JT and you're not in the playoffs, like, what do you, like, how bad are the other guys that you drafted? Right? Like, obviously there's injuries and stuff, but like people that have JT, they're basically all in the playoffs. I have not seen a single person tell me that they have JT and they're not in their fantasy playoffs. JT is one of the skeleton key reasons as to why so many people are winning. And you know what? I didn't like JT in the summer, so you know I was wrong. You know what's funny? I tweeted this a couple of days ago. Oh, fuck, I need to find the tweet. Kev, the guy who tweeted it. Dude, so many bots, and there's no more porn bots anymore, right? No more of the bots that are like, click this link and see my tits. You totally won't get a fucking Trojan virus on your computer. Those people don't show up anymore. Kind of lame, honestly. Kind of lame. All right, where's the tweet at? Did the guy delete it? Actually, I could just go into my own tweets. It was so bad. My thumbnails for these two videos. Hilarious. Okay. So someone tweeted about how like a certain brand that tweets on YouTube, that makes YouTube videos, deletes their videos and hides their bad takes. And I was just like, I always leave my bad takes out there. Look at this. So my thumbnail for this video, the worst pick in every round of your fantasy draft, the worst pick you could have made. The thumbnail is Jonathan Taylor. And it says bust. Oh my God. So that's funny, right? And then last year's, the worst pick bust, Saquon Barkley. So if you guys just next year draft whoever the fuck I put bust next to, you're going to win. So congrats to you. I'm going to put A-Chain on there next year so that maybe the Dolphins can win a playoff game. What a fucking idiot I am. But honestly, I thought Jonathan Taylor's quarterback when I made that video was going to be Daniel Jones. So, not Daniel Jones. It was going to be Anthony Richardson. And Jonathan Taylor was bad last year. Like, I know. Nick, Jonathan Taylor won me my league last year because he was great for the final 3 games of the fucking season. Yeah, how did you get... Most people didn't even get to the playoffs because he sucked so much ass during the regular season. But it is what it is. So your team is incredible. Burrow and Jamar Chase stack. If Igbuka, as long as Igbuka wakes up in the playoffs, I mean, you should win. You should win. That's a fantastic team. Now, again, when I say you should win, fantasy football is random, right? Of course, we know that. Random things happen. People shit the bed. In the playoffs, if you have one, like if 2 of your guys play terrible, you could just lose no matter how good your team is. But yeah, I like your team a lot. Your team is very, very nice. Very, very nice. I like your team a lot. All right, Ryan, pick 2. Amon-Ra, J-Mo, Michael Wilson, or Rice. Okay, so this is tough. This is tough. You're the Nostradamus of choosing RB1s. Please do it again. I will do it next year. But people forget, man, that in that video where I talk about all these busts, just because the thumbnail was shit and I was really wrong about it, a lot of the other picks were correct. So, it's like what Jordan Belfort says in the movie. I forgot exactly what he says, but it's like, judge me for my losers. Fuck, what does he say? Judge me for my losers because I have so few. That's what he says, bro. You can judge me on my losers because I have such few of them, That's me. Fucking genius. All right. Okay. But yeah, I mean, and also a lot of those videos, I was so right on so much stuff. Like this might have been the biggest genius, most smart I have ever been in the summer. And like somehow I'm not winning jack shit in best ball because I kept spam drafting fucking Isaiah Pacheco. Fuck that guy. Stomp through the earth with his runs. All right. Full PPR, Monrod, J-Mo, Michael Wilson, Rice. You're playing Rashee Rice. And then I'm going to keep it a buck with you. think you're just playing Amon-Ra. I think you're just playing Amon-Ra. But if you want to be safer, you just play JMO. So I would go Rashee Rice and Amon-Ra. I think both Amon-Ra and JMO are risky. I think Amon-Ra is more risky than JMO. So if you want to be safer, I would play JMO, but I'm playing Amon-Ra again because I don't think I'm going to be able to sleep tonight, man, if you sit Amon-Ra. I don't think you're going to be able to sleep if you sit Amon-Ra. I just don't think you are. And maybe I just screwed a gazillion people over and Amon-Ra goes bananas, but I think you have to play him. So I'm going to go Amon-Ra and I'm going to go Rashee Rice. If you want to be safe, you play JMO and Rashee Rice. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat as well. Moyakan Della, thank you. Goff or Mahomes? Great question. I'm going Goff. Normally the answer is going to always be Mahomes. I think like Mahomes is kind of just an insta start. But in this matchup, like I could see Mahomes having a bad game up against the Houston Texans. I mean, the Houston Texans defense is legit. If their offensive line wasn't a complete and utter disaster, like I think the Texans would probably be a team that you would be scared shitless if you're in the AFC to play in the playoffs. But I think because their offense is so bad, if your offense, not so bad, but like, if you can get some pressure on Stroud, like you're going to win that kind of game in the playoffs. So I would go Goff over Mahomes. I think this is going to be the highest scoring game of the week tonight. Dak over Burrow. Rock out with your cock out. I have it Dak 2, Burrow 5. So I agree with you. I have Dak over Burrow. Don't think it's like a wide margin though. So if you're like, oh, I'm going to start Dak instead of, if you're like, oh, I'm going to start Burrow over Dak, I'm not going to sit here and, have some 10-minute dissertation with you about why you're stupid because you're starting Burrow instead of Dak. But yeah, I would go Dak. Dak's been lethal the last 3 games. There was a lot of people that were getting so mad at me earlier on in the season. I don't know if you guys remember this. Nick, you told me to draft Dak, and oh man, Dak's playing bad. Oh man, I gotta cut Dak, right? And then Dak's like a league winner. Sometimes in fantasy, it takes a while, and I get it sucks to get clapped because Dak sucks early on the season, but it was worth it. It was worth the wait, but I agree. Dak over Burrow. Amon-Ra, active. Yes, Amon-Ra is active. You have to play Amon-Ra. You just have to. Again, I'm not going to be able to sleep if I don't play Amon-Ra on my team. Kyron, Saquon, or JMO. I think I'm going JMO. Will Lamar bounce back? I'm going to answer Wells in a second. Will Lamar bounce back? I'm going to be honest with you. The fact that Lamar Jackson hasn't practiced all week, I don't think he's bouncing back this week. Could he? Of course. Of course he can. Lamar, in my opinion, is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, so of course he can. But in my opinion, I don't think he will bounce back this week. I don't think so. Again, I think he kind of has you by the balls. And what I mean by that is like, how many of you guys are sitting him? Right? Like, let's be real. How many people are sitting him? Who the fuck is sitting him? No one is, right? Because they don't have the nuts to do it. What's good? Sutton, Marks, or Jones? Ooh, I would go Sutton personally. And then Ferg or Andrews, I'd go Ferg. Kincaid or Waller if Kincaid is here. Kincaid, Hurts or Stafford. Stafford. 55 is a huge line, yeah. This is going to be one of the highest scoring games of the season, I would think. Like at least, looking at the game, I think it could be. Will it be? Who fucking knows? But it could be. Okay, actually. Yeah, that's what we're going to go with here. That's what we're going to go with. Kincaid or Waller, I'd go Kincaid. Scary for last week of the regular season of the playoffs. Yeah, it does get scary. I've been playing fantasy for so long that honestly, like the fact that the playoffs start next week don't really faze me at all. Like I've kind of come to the conclusion that, again, do all the research you want. I do a zillion hours of research. It's still pretty luck based on if you're going to actually luck out and win, your championship. You need things to go your way. You need to play the correct opponent because, you might score a shit ton of points and everyone else doesn't. And the guy you play against scores more points than you by like 2 when you lose. Right. So I've kind of stopped worrying. Like, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I love fantasy football, but during the games, I'm not like checking my lineup every 5 seconds, stressing about it. I just, let it be. Either it's going to work or it's not going to work. It's kind of how I feel. I miss 2019 Lamar. I miss 2024 Lamar. Yeah, I was gonna say 2024 Lamar is pretty lethal too. Pittman or Flowers? I'd go Pittman. Bucky or Javante? Bucky. Who's sitting him? Yeah, I don't think you can. Good luck to everyone. Yeah, make sure you guys are in the Discord. All right, so I'm gonna share my teams now on the screen. Share my teams now on the screen. We'll go first with NFL. So this is the league that John was talking about before. I'm in second. John's in first. The battle for first place. Now I don't think Drake London's gonna play, but I can't fuck with anything yet because I have Darren Waller on the IR and he's not on the IR anymore. So Burrow, Darnold, or Nix, I'd go Burrow. So what I have to do is just wait and see what happens because 1 second. Because if I want to see if what's gonna happen with all these guys before I do anything. Okay. Yeah, so I just kind of have to see what happens here because I'm probably gonna cut Yoshi. If I'm being honest with you, because it seems like Higgins is gonna play. Actually, we could just do that right now, and we could actually adjust the lineup. So get Yoshi out of here. Get out of here. And now we can move Waller back up here. I mean, I think this line is pretty good. And I think we're going to play Waller in the flex. Hope Waller gets that tug for me. It's going to be a good game. Good game. I think I'm projected to lose probably. But again, the game ain't played on paper, baby. The game ain't played on paper. It ain't. All right. Lamar does have the ability to go off. I agree. Herbert, Darnold, or Jaden. First place tiebreaker game. I guess I would go Darnold probably. I guess if Jaden Daniels plays, I'd go Jaden Daniels. Pierce, Wilson, or Mitchell, I would go Wilson. Win sprints. I gotta win this game. I gotta do it. But actually, if I don't have a bye week, it is what it is. This league, I actually have to win, man. This is my other league with my friends. I am in 9th place, and I love my team. Playing against my dad this week. Sadly for my dad, I'm gonna have to beat him down to a pulp and get into the playoffs. I feel like I deserve it. My record is 6-7, and I feel like I should be in there like swimwear. So we're gonna get in there. Shakir, Hunt, Vidal at the flex. I'd go Shakir. Marks or Monunga, I'd go Marks. We need to get into the playoffs. So I got T. Higgins back, so we're gonna fucking put Rome on the bench for now. I think we go Monungai over Neal. I gotta beat my dad in this game. Gotta have it. Good luck, everybody. Good luck. Good luck. This league, I'm in 4th. I'm playing my dad in this one too. I should have had the bye, but I choked last week. I'm still gonna make the playoffs, win or lose, so not too worried about that. Oh, I gotta get Pickens out the flex. I'm gonna put Higgins in instead of Rome. I wish fucking Drake London would play, man. It would help out so many of my teams. Good luck to you as well, Godamus. Good luck to you as well. Okay, let me pull up. Switch the share screen. So we got stop share. Stop share. And then change it. Share screen. Sleeper. Yeah, I'm playing a Mon Ra over Igbuka. You have to play a Mon Ra. Sutton, Vidal, or Hunt Sutton. Good luck, guys. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. Oh, and the fucking bots are back. Goddamn bots. Okay, so this is my other team. This is another one where I'm waiting to see what happens. Waiting to see what happens. Wait, did I? Shit, I have to play Montgomery, right? When does the game start? Did it already start? Shit. Okay, so we're gonna have to get rid of Ricky. Okay, actually, we're gonna get rid of our defense first. We're gonna get rid of our defense. And then I guess we're gonna have to play Vidal, which is fine because I don't actually need to win in this league this week. So we get Darren Waller into the lineup, get rid of Goddard. And then I guess we'll play Vidal. And then we could just figure that out though. So we should be good. We should be good. In this league, I am in first place. This is my best team. First place. Number one. Number one prostitute in all of Kazakhstan. I'm just ready to get rid of Goddard, if I'm being honest with you. I'm done with this fucker. Constant underperforming. So let's just get rid of him now. Get him off my team. Get him out of here. Smash that like button, facts. And actually, we have C-Rod available. I'm fine going with C-Rod. She is my sister. Vidal or Marks? I'd go Marks. Right, so let's add C-Rod. Boom. And put C-Rod in there. And there we go. Got a pretty solid lineup this week. Once Drake London comes back, we'll be locked in, though. So thank you guys all so much for watching. Oh, actually, I'll show you guys the last team, too. This is my worst team by far. If Gibbs at Williams tonight, best of luck, man. Best of luck. This is my worst team by far. See, Brian, it's in the subscriber league, too. Even more embarrassing. I'm in 5th place. Or, yeah, 5th place. This is the squad. It's just not looking the best. I think we're gonna have to play BTJ, which I don't want to. I'm probably gonna lose, but as long as I get into the playoffs, honestly, anything from there, anything can happen when you're in the playoffs, right? I could just luck my way into a win. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy the stream. We'll be back live on Sunday. We'll be live. I mean, there'll be a video tomorrow. There'll be a video on Saturday. So I hope you guys have a great one. I love you long time, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Peace out, and we'll play some nice music on the way out too. And I don't know who we're rooting for tonight. It doesn't matter. Oh, I didn't want that sound. I don't know what the fuck. There's a heartbeat playing. This was Night Drive. See you guys later. Peace out.